Welcome back to the last part of the staircase, and we are going to put the threads, and also just touch a bit of the landing, because the landing here, this will be all concrete. So I'm just putting this so that the landing here will be concrete, but we can just put a thread that will show this is a landing. Now let's just begin by placement the of the threads here. So let me come here and rotate that so that I'll be able to see all the positions that will be available for me to start placement of the thread. Now let me pick on my tool there called Mache. Then I pick part one, and the secondary part use part two. Then I pick my first position on that corner. Then come all the way to this second position on this corner here. Then I'll click OK. Then I'll give some time to add information. Then you can see my thread is inclined, and this inclination means that my XYZ plane is inclined also. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to confirm that. I'll show you why it is inclined. You can see my XYZ plane is inclined like that, so it takes the profile or the direction of my XYZ plane. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just press delete. So once I've pressed delete, I'm first of all take my XYZ plane to its default. So I'll pick on the XYZ plane and just place it somewhere there on the default position, usually on a flat surface. The global position there is the best, for lack of a better word. Now let me pick on that member and pick on this member as a secondary member, and pick this corner as my first position. Don't worry about the clash that it will clash there with the cleat connection there. So let me just zoom out or zoom in and narrow down on or zero down on that connection there, on that point. So we'll have our thread in place. We have the thread in place. You can see that. Perfect. If I come to navigate there, and I'll be able to pick on it and turn it around like that, you'll be able to see we have the thread. But don't worry about the clash here. We can decide either to reduce the clit slightly and bring it down slightly to that level. Then the extended part that remain will make it be part of the assembly with the thread. So that should not be such a big worry. The key part is just how do you know how to fix this thread, and which best tool to use, and how do you apply them. Now we are going to the other direction of our thread, and since it is taking an inclination upward, you can see that if I turn it like that, you'll be able to see we are working on this staircase. But you can see we have this thread here, so we're applying the threads on this second flight of our staircase. Now let me just turn it around like that. Then I'll right click to walk away from the previous command where we used this thread. Now let me just initiate another command on the same using the same macro. So I'll pick my main part. So I'll pick my main part as this one, as the first stringer, and this one as my second part stringer, as the second part. Now I'll come back on my initial spot at that corner there as my first position, then come here as my second position. So I'll just give some time to process that information. Then we'll be able now to start populating it upward. Then I'll come to navigate by left clicking on it. Then we have options of moving your model. We have pan and have set viewpoint. So to rotate, we are interested in the rotation. So I'll pick my point of rotation. If you see a plus sign here, pick your point of rotation. Then you'll see some reddish kind of a circle that indicates your point of rotation. Then just press your left button on the mouse, hold, then move your mouse like this. Then you'll be able to rotate. Then if you take a closer look here, if I zoom close, you can see we have anti-skid on our threads. You can see that anti-skid just through anti-sliding when you step on the thread. Now I had showed you how you can enable the bolts, so will not deal with that now. You can just do that by yourself, because I had showed you on the first flight. Now we want to populate this on the upper side. So prior to that, we have to align our XYZ plane with the stringer, because the stringer is inclined going upward. So I'll come to applications here and pick on the work plane. Then I'll pick work plane tool, then just mouse over this stringer and place it right there. So you can see we're moving on the X direction, because if I come to navigate and turn it right like that, you'll be able to see it clearly that our XYZ plane is aligned with our stringer or first flight or second flight of a staircase. Now I want to populate this up to this side, or up to this top end here of our staircase. So number one, I'm going to select it, the thread that I intend to populate all the way to this top end here. So I've selected it. I'm going to right click and come to spatial copy and pick on linear. So once I'm in linear, I'm going to key the distance between the top end of this thread to the top end of the next one will be 90. So I've keyed in 90 here, and the number I need is 11. So once I've indicated all those numbers, I'm going to click copy. So once I click copy, it will be populated relative to the direction of the XYZ plane, which we've just aligned it with our flight, uh, uh, which is inclined towards the top floor or the second floor. So you can see we move all the way to that end, and it's actually meshing or matching with the top end here. So these are normally industrial threads, but as this will be a workshop or a warehouse, the thread is advisable, because you'll be wearing bolts, and bolts are susceptible to holding grease or hiding grease, or you will be working on oiled places, and this will make you susceptible to skidding. So you don't need a staircase that is tiled. You need this staircase that has some grooves that will not subject you to chances of sliding. So this is an industrial kind of thread, and it's advisable for this situation here, for this kind of structure. So you can see that. But if I turn it around, you can see so many symbols of weld. So I want just to get rid the symbols you see, like the ticks or rods, or welding rod holder here. You can see it looks like that. So let me just right click and click interrupt just to walk out of that command. Then I'll left click by left clicking on empty screen. So if you see this orange thing, means you've left clicked. So I'll right click and come to redraw. So if I redraw, I'll lose all those symbols. So our model will look as nice as it is, as you can see here. So if I switch back to the top view, we'll be able to see we'll have this view here of our staircase. You can see that. So maybe you don't want to see the points. I have showed you how you can get rid of those points. So switch back to isometric view. You can always switch to 3D plane and twice, and it will go back where it will take you where you were before. So that's all about the staircase. And the manual one just has modeling, like simple modeling of a staircase, just putting the post and putting the handrails and connecting them. That should not be such a big task to do. And since this is advanced stages of learning Tekla structures, I think at that stage you are conversant with the tools available in Tekla structures. And if I turn it like that, you'll be able to see that. Now, on the side of landing, I think we can just pick this one here. I can I'll be able to come back and pick on that member, and we want to use this member here as our first component, then the secondary part. Then we are going to use these corners here. I want to use this corner here as my first position. Then I use the other end as my first position. But this type will force us to weld some flat bar on the other side, because our beam should have been a channel, and the channel should be should be facing, the back should be facing this side, so to allow a nice connection of the thread or of the landing to the beam. Now I'll just snap there for just a demonstration. So once I've snapped there, I'll be able to define, and you can see it's taking a weird a direction of its position due to this is because of the direction of our z-axis. So I'll just go back and select on it. So once I've selected on it, and I'll come back to view. So under view, I'll pick on the work plane tool and pick on work plane tool and just take it back to its global position. So advantage to that is that we want now to check the distance here, this distance. Let me just zoom close. We want to check this distance here. Turn it around so that I get the accurate details of what I want to show you. The distance of the width of our thread. Now, with aid of these corners here, I'll be able to check the distance, but it will not be accurate. Let me just make this. I hope you're seeing this clearly. We want to place a thread here on this landing. On the landing, you see here, this one here, this beam and this beam. So I want to get the distance from this edge to this edge. How do we do that? I'll come to edit, then come to measure and pick distance. Then I'll snap on that spot and just keep your mouse on a straight line and move to the opposite direction. And I'll just snap on that spot. If I click there, I'll be able to see this is 900. So taking into account that the width is 900 and the length can be defined by defining the 2 points. Now let's go back and get started afresh in defining the positions where we intend to place our landing with the aid of gratings. Now I'll come back and invoke that command or start that command. Then I'll pick the parts I'm intended to place the gratings. Now I'll pick the positions where I want to start. I want to start all the way from that spot. Let me just zoom and make sure I select that accurately. So I'll zoom out on the other side and select this as my second point. If I click on that, I'll be able to get my thread in place. So what I'll do here is quite simple. Is to add the width and also define the full length so that we have these members cutting across or going all the way to the other end. So if I come here and double click on it to get the dialog box in place, so I'll be able now to key in here 900 instead of 2 meters or instead of 200. So if I click modify, we'll be able to get that filling that gap completely. But on the gratings on this side, we'll be able to adjust those later on. So if I turn the other side and maybe we can add those later on. Let me just come to profiles here and we have that detail, and we come to bolts and we come here and we have this 9x9, and that's all. So parameters, if I come here and maybe add, maybe make it maybe 100 and maybe 100 right there, and click OK and give it some time to process that information. Let's see what we have. Entire principal, entire secondary, and that's huge information to process. So all in all, this is how we can use this tool to create the landing. So the 29 by 29, that was just these gaps inside here, so we can always take it back to 29 or 30 just to make it okay and click OK. So once you're there, that's okay. Just give some time to take it back where it was, and that's all about that. That's all about the landing, and this is the best and ideal tool for creating gratings for staircase. So that's how you use it. And if I right click and come to redraw, I'll be able to have gotten rid of everything there. And if I turn it around like that, and I'll be able to have my landing in place. So I hope you try that by yourself. The rest are self-explanatory, and you can go back and forth and make sure everything works best for you. And I'll assume things are better on your side. in the process of learning integral structures under intermediate and advanced stages. So let's meet then on a different topic apart from the staircase and handrail detailings. Let's meet then on a different topic. Bye bye.